What's up, War Report family? It's your boy Mike G. I'm here with a special guest live from Media Days. Joining me is Jake Crain, host of Crain and Co. You can catch them over on the Daily Wire. What's going on, Jake?
Man, it's media day. Means we're about to flip to the next chapter, which is kickoff. Could not be more excited. Could not be more excited for Auburn. Obviously with Hugh Freeze and what they're doing right now. So I'm ready to get it going, man.
Yeah, listen. Last year there was a feeling that Harsin did pretty well at Media Days. He came in, he addressed the controversy. He said, this is what happened. You guys attacked me. It didn't work. And then he tried to move on from it. Now, his tenure ended very unceremoniously. Now Hugh Freeze is in. How did Hugh Freeze do in his first Media Days as the Auburn head football coach?
I thought Hugh did a great job. And when you come into Media Day, especially in the role that Auburn is, it's a role that we're not very used to, as being Auburn fans, and is the underdog. You don't want to give anybody any bulletin board material. You don't want to come out here and take a shot at Nick Saban, even though people say, well, Brian Kelly did it last year and it worked out. But where Hugh is, when you look left and you see what Georgia's doing, you look right, you see what Alabama's been doing with Saban still there. You just want to kind of get through it. But I thought he had a good mixture of looking hungry but also thankful.
Right.
And listening to him talk, I thought it was very genuine, talking about Phil Montgomery being the play caller, how he's had to kind of change the terminology because, you're around long enough. You have guys that work under you that move on. You need to be able to change it. That signals too.
Right.
But I thought he handled it really well. I thought the players were great. I thought he made great decisions on who he brought. And again, as a head coach, especially as a new one, you're just trying to kind of get through it without giving anybody anything to add to the preparation, because bulletin board material, I think there's a common misconception, it doesn't help you during the game.
Yeah, that's right.
After that first snap, all that stuff, you're just trying to go make plays and survive out there. But it's the prep. It narrows your focus on the prep. And that's what this game is. It's preparation, and then you get your opportunity. So I thought Hugh did a great job, and I'm really excited to see this team in year one.
Well, listen, he came in with what we, for lack of a better term, a checkered past, right?
Yeah.
I was surprised that there weren't more questions about his redemption. He was pretty clear in his opening press conference when he got to Auburn. He said, give me a chance to earn your trust. That's what he said to Auburn fans. Did he take steps towards earning their trust this week at SEC Media Days?
Without a doubt. I think he's taken a step almost every day. When you look at the landscape right now of Auburn, you can feel it. The Auburn fans can feel it. There's more positive momentum right now behind Auburn football than I can remember in a while, including the end of Gus Malzahn's tenure. And that's multiple fronts. You feel like a guy's in there that, number one, understands what it takes. He's done it before. This isn't his first rodeo, but he's getting a second chance. But there's nothing like seeing your professional life flash before your eyes. And I'd be willing to bet I would much rather have a guy that is trying to fight for that second chance. I think there's a lot less of a chance of him doing something off the field that's stupid or to put himself in a bad position, as opposed to somebody who's just blowing up, doing great, young in their career, feels invincible. How many times do we see that? So, yeah, I think he has. And the last piece of the puzzle is doing it on the field. And I think Hugh eventually is going to do that. I think they're going to surprise a couple people this year. But as far as earning the fan base's trust, it's amazing. And I said this when it happened. Those same people that were there, because this is just how fan bases are, including Auburn's, the same people that were there at Toomer's Corner, don't fire Brian Harsin, this, that, and the other, or Hugh Freeze is the worst, whatever. They'll be the first people to roll Toomer's Corner after that first big win that Auburn has.
Listen,
that's how it is.
Auburn definitely has some work to do on the field, but some of that work is going to involve Jarquez Hunter. Now, he was asked a Jarquez Hunter question this week about his availability. It seems like Auburn is deflecting on Jarquez, right? But how important is it going to be to Hugh Freeze's first year that Jarquez Hunter is actually available for that first third of the season?
Oh, well, I think it's huge. He's your best back. I think Jarquez has more potential than Tank had. And people say,
I said that.
People say,
I got fried
people
for
say,
that.
oh, you're crazy. I just think he's I think he has home run speed.
That's right.
Tank Bigsby has incredible vision, alien vision. You could see in 3D. He's one of the few guys that could bounce the power or cut back on gap scheme runs, and you're like, wow, that was a great decision, when 99% of the times that is the death knell. You never do that.
Right.
But Jarquez has great vision. He's a bowling ball. He's kind of like a more athletic Michael Dyer with top end speed. That's what he looks like to me. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's a good blocker. He's very important, too, because he has experience. Not that Damari Alston isn't a good player. I think Damari has a chance to be a really good second piece. But Jarquez puts the fear of God into defensive coordinators because if that safety doesn't fit right and he gets past the box, Jarquez can score from 80 out as opposed to Tank, who would have those great 30, 35-yard runs, but he wouldn't hit that home run. And what would happen? You'd have that 35-yard run, you'd get into the red zone, you get stymied, you kick a field goal. I think Jarquez can actually be a home run hitter.
You know what's funny is somebody out there wanted Jarquez to play linebacker coming out of high school.
Well, he probably could, but I mean, I'd much rather have him with the ball.
Definitely. Look, I've said that. I thought that he was a more complete back than Tank Bigsby, and that's not a knock on Tank.
And I love Tank's a great player.
Yeah, it's not
Tank's a great player.
Yeah, but I thought Jarquez Hunter had something special. Now, in the spring, Hugh Freeze mentioned that, when you ask him about any player, he would say, I haven't coached these guys yet. I haven't coached these guys yet. But when asked about Jarquez, he said, he's already the best back I've ever coached, and I haven't coached him a game yet.
Yeah.
Right, and I thought that said a lot for him. Jake, let's end this out talking about quarterback, man. Robbie Ashford, you and I, we're kind of on the same place on Robbie Ashford. Auburn has gone out and gotten Peyton Thorne, the experienced transfer from Michigan State. He raises the floor in that quarterback room. So about 2,000 yards total from Auburn's quarterbacks passing last year. Peyton Thorne raises that floor to about 2,800. What's this going to look like in the fall? The last QB we saw at Auburn come in and win a starting job without a spring at Auburn was Chris Todd.
Yeah. And I think there's some similarities in kind of the way they operate. Peyton's more athletic than Chris is on the ground, obviously. Now, there's the old rule of thumb. You don't go get JUCO players. You don't go get guys out of the transfer portal to sit the bench.
Right.
That's not typical, especially at the quarterback position. Why do you think Alabama brought in Tyler Buckner? Because they needed him. I think he's going to actually end up winning the job. But when I look at Peyton Thorne and when I look at this battle, I love Peyton Thorne's leadership. I think he brings, for lack of a better term, an adult in the room.
Okay, yes, fair. He's a mature guy.
That has been there, coach's son. Not that Robbie isn't mature, but Robbie's still younger than I think some people think he is. What I look at it is, I always look at it from a defensive side, as a guy that coached defense for a long time. If Robbie Ashford can just throw good enough, he doesn't have to be Drew Brees in the system. He doesn't have to be Dan Marino. I think he can actually open up this Auburn offense more, because my only question about Peyton Thorne, it isn't can he make the throws, it isn't can he make the deep ball throws. It's that we heard Hugh Freeze talk about this is still going to be his system that he's ran.
Yeah,
that's an RPO system. Just like the zone read, the quarterback has to be a threat to keep the ball and run for it to work at its maximum potential. Is Peyton Thorne athletic enough to do that in this league? We'll see. If he can, I think this offense can thrive if they can stay healthy up front. But if Robbie Ashford can just figure out how to be an effective passer like he was against Bama.
Right.
I thought that Bama game for him was huge.
Hell of a throw to
oh, my goodness, he looked like a different guy. If he can do that, I think he has a chance to make a big impact. But I think what you'll see is Peyton Thorne will win the job. Robbie Ashford will come in on 3rd and short, 4th and short, red zone, and they'll have a couple gadget plays for him. He may catch a couple passes. But I like the competition in that room. I think Holden still has a chance to be a good player. Yeah. And look, Hugh Freeze and Phil Montgomery, when it comes to quarterbacks, they're going to have a guy ready. So I think the room is in a lot better position right now. I do think Peyton's going to win it, but don't sleep on Robbie.
Yeah, look, Robbie Ashford obviously brings a different dynamic to your offense with elite athleticism. However, they did go out and they made sure that they had a guy with experience that could, again, help raise the floor in that quarterback room. It'll be interesting to see what direction Hugh Freeze decides to go at quarterback. Continuing the conversation on quarterback here, if you're Robbie Ashford, what do you have to do to win this job before game one?
I think you've got to just become a very consistent passer in every third, whether that's the now screen. And again, there's so many things that are built in. All the RPO is, it's triple option from the shotgun.
Right.
That's what it is. It's triple option with the pass integrated into it. You can manipulate the front. You can change linebackers' eyes. If you are able to spit the ball out on the bubble, read the box, obviously, read the numbers, make the right decision. If you're able to throw the dig, if you're able to throw the slant, if you're able to throw the crosser and anticipate and then be effective in the deep ball, I think Robbie Ashford is the best option. But that would take a big jump, Mike, from where he was to get there.
Got some work
because
to do.
Peyton can do that.
Right.
He's a very natural thrower of the ball. And I think Robbie has some touch. You saw some touch throws, which is hard to put in a guy. So
he played hurt. He played with a hurt shoulder.
He did play hurt. Leadership is a big thing in that room. There's a lot of trust, especially early in a coach's tenure at that quarterback position. You always want trust and experience and, you know, a veteran presence there. But if Robbie can show leadership and become a consistent passer in all thirds of the passing game, I think he could give Peyton Thorne a run for his money. And I'll tell you this much about Hugh Freeze. The best player's going to play.
Right, okay. All right, well, listen, I'm looking forward to seeing what Hugh Freeze can do. The
Me
professed QB developer is
Yep.
going to hopefully produce for Auburn at that position. I want to thank Jake Crain from Crain & Co. on the Daily Wire. Subscribe to them on YouTube.
Yeah,
Download
man,
the
we're
podcast,
everywhere.
man. Listen to these guys.
I'm not a technological savant by any stretch of the imagination, but we're on basically every platform. And you guys do such a great job. I love keeping up with your work, man. Really excited, really proud of y'all. The Fireside Chat's fantastic.
Hey, listen,
I check that out. That's real stuff. We always talk about, you know, real, recognize real, and it's always great to catch up.
All
with
right.
you.
Well, thank you, Jake, for joining us. Guys, we'll be back with more content live from SEC Media Days. We're signing off. As always, War Eagle.